Today is August 14th. Weather trying to ruin the weekend. The Pirates are capable of doing that without tornadoes. They split the doubleheader but dropped the series. Let's talk about it. It's the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins guys, thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh, and I am joined, as always, by my brother Jake. What's up, Jake?
Hey man, what's going on?
Another late night session here. Another late night one. It is late Sunday night, and actually, it just turned over to Monday morning for us.
For you.
Oh yeah, for me, not quite you yet. But for me, it is now Monday morning. I don't really count that. It's not the next day. It's not tomorrow until you've gone to sleep and you've woke up.
For normal people, yes. Not night shift people. I mean,
How do they flip to tomorrow? Sun up?
They flip with it. They flip with it. They have to.
Not at midnight. What time are you going to work?
Like, for example, Ash is a nurse. So when she goes into work at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
At midnight, if somebody comes through his door,
I think it's still tonight until she goes home. I guess you could, I don't know. It's probably sun up.
She's just got to, it's just filling out paperwork is all I'm saying. Like, fill out paperwork, it's got to be the next day because it technically is.
You don't write today and tomorrow on paperwork.
No, you're right.
I'm saying today and tomorrow. I know when it flips to the 14th, but when does today become yesterday? It's not until
I'm
you're
with you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Anyway, but yeah, you're right. So I did go somewhere else with that. Sunday flipped to Monday already for me. But today and tomorrow is the thing where I'm like, it's not tomorrow until I go to bed and then I wake up. And then that's when today becomes yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
It's always today, unless it's tonight. That sounds like something Yogi Berra would say. Well, Pirates lost the series to the Reds.
You can never bank on taking 2 games of a doubleheader to win a series.
No, and that's the problem with this whole thing. When you drop Friday night, which that game, that's a weird one to me. You have 3 innings where the Reds score. They score 3 runs in each of those innings. And at the end of it, it looks like a complete blowout.
Yeah.
This was one of the weird backwards series. I can't get over how backwards everything is as far as offensively. You're going to tell me that you have 3 games and you get 6 hits in one, 3 hits in another one, and 9 hits in another one. And the game that you won was the one that you had 3 hits in. Even better to say that, I don't know where I was going to go with that. I already forget.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense at all.
It doesn't make sense, especially when you say you scored 2, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was going with that. You scored 4 runs in the game you had 3 hits.
Yeah.
But it was a Keller game. He did not get the win, but the Pirates did. You get a dub on a Keller game.
Got to.
Yeah. Well, but it hasn't been happening.
Right.
So I did not I did not watch the games tonight. Today.
I watched the
Today.
first 2 innings.
Earlier today. Yesterday. Whatever. Yeah, you had to work today, so you missed.
Yeah.
You missed the games there. You got to watch a little bit. I didn't even get to watch a little bit. We had a welcome home party for Darren.
Mm-hmm.
He's back.
Nice.
Great to see him again. Jake knows Darren. That's why I'm able to just say Darren. But for the rest of you, Darren is a friend of ours who was deployed for a year. Got to see the pictures of him coming home and seeing his kids and
I don't want to see
family
him.
and everything like that.
I don't want to see that video.
You just don't because
Nope.
you know.
I will 100% cry. I cannot make it through a soldier coming home and surprising his family video.
It wasn't a
tear
surprise,
being
but it
shed.
doesn't matter.
No, it does
Doesn't
not matter.
His
Doesn't
little
matter. They pop up and I'm just
yeah. His little
I'm
girl
done.
was just.
I'm sure she was beaming.
I mean, you couldn't. I barely saw him today without her being either there or in his arms.
Yeah.
His youngest.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
A year's a long time, man.
A year's a very long time. It's felt like a very long time, but really cool to see him and just kind of welcome him back.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome, man.
Yeah. Okay. So move on from that there. But yeah, we did that. And then we were over at some friend's house, like basically for the rest of the evening. Like we left the house earlier today. We got back at 10:30 tonight. So I was kind of rubbing it in because it really felt like we were going to sweep the doubleheader there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And is it my friend's house who's a Reds fan? So I was like, oh, I mean, we're doing all right. So tornado or something like that canceled the game Saturday, which created the doubleheader. We'll talk about maybe something a little bit about that later. But let's just talk about what we saw in the games. I've gone through and I've watched as much of replays and everything of the games and some of the plays and stuff like that to get caught up since I've been home. So try to get caught up on all the games and all the action. And
Sure.
you know, we've been talking for about 35 minutes now, 45 minutes, trying to get ready for this. Just both of us kind of looking over everything and kind of getting the scoop in that. So I was following along with the games, right? So I kind of had an idea of how it was going. But starting off with Friday, Oviedo got a text from a buddy of mine saying, great start. And I said, it's Oviedo, though. He'll give you those 3 runs, and then, you know, he'll settle in. He'll be all right. And I was just getting ready to text him. I told you he'd be all right. And 3 more runs come in the 4th inning. First time the Pirates or Pirates fans, if you don't watch a lot of baseball or anything but the Pirates, first time you get to actually watch Ellie De La Cruz play. He showed up Friday night. Got to show off some of his abilities and some of his excitement. And it's really hard not to compare him to O'Neal Cruz. And they did so for quite a while.
Yeah.
But it's hard not to put the comparisons in.
Right.
Very exciting players. I mean, he's tall. He hits ridiculous power, throws the ball really hard. I still think, though, that this is maybe just me being a Pirates fan, right? But they even said it on the broadcast. Joe Block said, wow, and Ellie De La Cruz breaks O'Neal Cruz's record of an assist, shortstop assist, with the velocity being the highest.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on to say right after that, It's just unbelievable. Or Wayner said it. I can't remember, but it's just unbelievable to think that they're fielding a ground ball and throwing a ball that hard to first base from that position. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Ellie didn't do that. It was a relay.
Yeah.
It was thrown from the outfield. He had so much momentum going on his throw home. That shouldn't count.
No.
But they got the out, so it's an infield assist. But like the misunderstanding of, or the misperception of what actually happened was even right there. Our own guys were saying that he fielded a ground ball and threw it that hard. He didn't.
No.
He basically fell over when he threw that ball.
Not to take it away from how hard he threw it, but
it's
not the same.
You're right, but it's not the same. However, like I said, those kind of records in the end, they're exciting, but they don't matter.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They just don't matter. I just happened to look at our screen and realized how sunburnt my face is. Which is really bugging me. So if you're watching on video and you see me just touching my face like this, yeah, I'm hurting. Look at that. Wow, look at that angle.
Yeah. Yeah, you're burnt.
It hurts. Redheads. Some things for redheads just don't make sense. And that's one of them, man. It gets white when I touch it.
I still have a shorts line from, we floated down a river like, I don't know, a month and a half ago. I still have a line there from where I was burnt.
I should have just wore sunglasses. Can you see this one? No, you can't. The camera really doesn't show it. Where I wear my arm guard.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah. Reynolds 2 hits, hit a double in that first game. Hayes hit a solo home run, but interesting weekend for Reynolds with the 2 hits in this game, and then the Sunday night game he gets 2 more hits, both of them home runs, but he goes 0 for 4 in the win. So just another weird one. When you look at stuff like that, it's bizarre, I think.
Well, how many home runs did we end up hitting in the nightcap?
Just the 3. 2 for Reynolds, 2 for Reynolds, and Peguero hit the 1. But in the day game, in the 3-hit game, one of the hits, Jared Triolo, first major league homer.
Yeah, we'll give it to him.
We were laughing about this before because on the broadcast they said it was 347. And then we looked at the graphic later from StatCast, and it shows that the outfield wall is 358. I think that's what it was, right? 358? I believe that's what it said. 358 to the spot of the fence that it went over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've seen the PNC Park wall. Where Peguero hit his home run, it said 379. So after it's on its way to center field, straight away left, maybe, whatever, it says 379. StatCast had Jared Triolo's home run at 385, which is 40 feet further than what the broadcast said. Yeah. Here's what doesn't make sense. If they have the outfield wall at 354 and it landed at 347, it's not a home run. But it hit the wall as it went past it, or at least almost did.
Yeah, at least almost.
It was barely over the fence. There's no way that it could have went 385. So I don't know how far this was. Granted, it counts for 3 runs no matter what way you look at it.
Right.
But I just thought that was really funny, and it does kind of make you question a lot of what we see with all of these home run distances and all of those things. It's very inconsistent. We don't really know. In the end, we just talked about Cruz and De La Cruz throwing the ball. In the end, it doesn't matter. It went over the fence and it counted for 3 runs.
The throw came across the field and got the out.
That's right. It just doesn't matter. They are fun things to talk
Yeah.
about,
Yeah, 100%.
which is why I felt it was worth it to even bring it up in the first place. But we do have to remember that whether it's a home run distance, I think the exit velocities, I think they've got pretty consistent at this point with all the new stuff that they've done and all those, whatever you call it. But I mean, whatever. But also the strike zone.
Yeah.
We don't get a dynamic strike zone on a broadcast. It's the same square for every hitter. There's no way that it's a strike or a ball for every hitter. It's just too hard to say that.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get into that. No, we will get into that.
Forever. Human element forever.
Well, that's a good point too, because, well, yeah, what we see on the broadcast isn't what they're using anyway.
Right.
I still don't mind the challenge system for balls and strikes. I've seen it live. I've seen it live. They tap the hat. Everyone looks at it on the screen, and the call is changed immediately.
Yeah.
And then you move on, and you only get so many of those challenges, and it can only come from pitcher, catcher, or hitter. Nowhere else. Don't even think it can come from the bench.
Yeah, I'm for that. I'm against robot umps.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's a topic for the off season.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we may as well get into that. Derek Shelton thrown out of a game. Oscar Marine thrown out of a game. Oh my goodness, Donnie Kelly thrown out of the game. All at the same time. I don't even know. We watched the replay several times. We never even saw Donnie Kelly but we didn't get to see the whole thing because I found out that my DVR was full because I had like 250 Pirates games on there. So Fubo, maybe allow an expiration date. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Somehow I had 3 of Saturday's games on there or Friday's games on there. Why did you record it 3 times?
Right.
I don't know. But anyway, so we couldn't watch we had to rely on the replays and things like that. I have MLB TV, but apparently it wasn't enough hours away from the game to be able to watch it. I was able to watch a lot of the first game, but not any because I'm blacked out, of course.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense because it's just a replay. I'm going to get thrown out at this point. It's good to see Shelton going out there again. We talk about this every time. I want him to go get thrown out. You had a legitimate, you see the pitches that were thrown to Reynolds. They made their voices heard to say that pitch in particular was up. It was not a strike. He said, that's a strike. So when you throw that same exact pitch 2 pitches in a row to a batter who gets walked on the same pitch and gets first base to load the bases, yeah, you're going to be a little mad about that.
Yeah, you have every right to be. Even if the call was technically correct.
My guess is Marine was thrown out from what he was saying from the bench.
Yeah.
And then Shelton was thrown out for whatever he said when he came out there.
I think he got thrown out for even coming out there because you can see he throws somebody out. And then as Shelton comes up out of the dugout, he points and tells him to go back in the dugout. When he kept coming, he goes, "Nah, you're gone too."
Do you think that's okay?
No.
Now, Shelton was going to get thrown out.
Shelton was going to get thrown
because
out.
The first thing Shelton said was about the balls and strikes. So they've made that clear. They can throw him out for arguing balls and strikes. Yeah. So the first guy he throws out, whoever, that's fine. Shelton, maybe a little quick. I think he should give him an opportunity to come out and say, why did you throw him out?
Yeah.
But he threw him out before he ever had a chance. So the first thing Shelton's going to say is, if you're going to throw me out of here, I'm going to tell you how bad you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was it just Friday night? Do you pay attention to the umpire scorecards that come out?
I do not.
I'm trying to wonder if that was just Friday night where the Pirates umpire scorecard or the game for the Friday night's game came out and it was like almost perfect. From my knowledge, the best one I've seen. But now I have to find it. So, yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, you gotta at least give him a chance to not be coming out there to yell at you for balls and strikes. Like you said, come out. Like, what are we throwing him out for? This and that. Can I get an explanation? All that good stuff. Which they don't have to. They don't have to give you an explanation, but they should. They should. And just to throw him out for even coming out of the dugout, I don't know. My favorite is the guy who acted all big and tough that gets between them.
oh, really? Because I actually had more of a problem with the guy who he was yelling at, just nodding his head up and down, like, yeah, like say what you want. I've already thrown you out of the game.
Right.
And he had that little like thing with his lips where he's a tough guy in it. It was Friday night's game, or no, it wasn't Friday night's game. It was Thursday night, the 7-5 Atlanta game. 99% accurate. Alan Porter, 2 missed calls. 2.
Well done.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give umpires a hard time. I thought this was worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all. But yeah, outside of the actual ejections, I thought it was funny. What was it? The Barstool tweet when it said, "You are now managing the Pittsburgh Pirates." I thought that was good. That was pretty funny. I like it. I like the fact that they're sticking up for their guys.
Yeah.
In this scenario, no matter what it is, no matter if it's Shelton sticking up for his coach, really in that scenario, or what, he's going to get thrown out. He knows he's going to get thrown out. But Reynolds was frustrated about the strikeout, and you see at the end, at the end of the clip, Reynolds kind of shaking his head. I would assume not at Shelton. I would assume he was shaking his head at the umpires. Like, how can you do that? But either way, listen, the umpires aren't perfect unless you're Alan Porter on Thursday night, and then you can be darn near perfect. But other than that, they're going to miss him. It kind of stinks that it was like those pitches were very close. I don't know how far apart they were. It's not like one was to a righty and one was to a lefty, but the only thing you can say is like Reynolds was on the outer half of the plate, not where the umpire sets up, and the other two were on the inner side of the plate. So, I don't know. Maybe he sees them different. Be interesting to find that out.
Yeah. I've been back there before, obviously not anywhere remotely near that level. It's difficult to see everything. You put yourself in the best position you possibly can, and there's still going to be something, and you're going to question your own self, but you have to make the call like that. Like, you can't take your time and think about it. Because then you're wrong. No matter what you call at that point, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. So then the nightcap, after was it really like tornadoes in the area is why they canceled the game?
Just all I read was inclement weather.
Yeah, I think it was just like, well, there's a tornado warning, so we'll just play this thing tomorrow. I feel like that's how it went down. But I don't really know. We kind of shifted our plans and did whatever. And, we played the softball tournament on Saturday. So I was home in time to watch. And then a few of us went out for ice cream a little bit later. And my friend who's a Reds fan is like, "Oh, have you checked the score?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure they canceled the game." I was like, "I know it was delayed." And then he's like, "Yeah, they postponed it." So I was like, "Yeah, not playing." And it's a beautiful day. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not that far from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously. We had tornado watches and stuff here too, but nothing ever came of it. I don't really know. I guess there was some pretty bad storms here, but we were like 40 minutes south of town. We got nothing, which is good because that would have been gross. Anyway, yeah, I didn't watch the coverage of it because we were out and about and I was getting ready, and I keep an eye on I saw the delay and I was like, okay, where are we at here? All right. Reynolds hits the 2 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Little bat flip on the second one. His style bat flip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, really just thought there in the 7th inning that we had it.
Yeah. I saw the notification come up on my phone when I was at work, and it's like Ronald hit a bomb. It extends the lead. I'm like, all right, we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Let's shut it down.
Let's shut it down. We did not.
However, Bednar did shut down the second game.
Yeah.
I know I'm jumping, but we're just talking about the things here. So Bednar was able to, we've talked about it. He's been a little bit shaky lately. Good to see him come out and he gives up the triple, but outside of that, strikeout, gives up the triple, gets another strikeout, gets a ground out. You want to see that.
Yeah.
3 hits in that game. Can't believe it. And then, so let's pivot back to that middle game, back to the day game on Sunday. Mitch Keller on the mound. We said it earlier. We get a win on the Keller game. That's what you want to see. He gives up 1 earned run. There were 2 runs scored. Alika Williams, rough game Friday with the 3 strikeouts, 0 for 3 strikeouts. Follows this one up with an error. The runner ends up scoring. And that was the inning where he had the walk, right? He had the other walk and then gives up the hit that scores the run. And so he gets an unearned run there. But the other 2 walks, Keller has 3 walks in the game. We can have that discussion a little bit because we had it a little bit before, and I think it's worth it. For me, 3 walks is too much in a 6-inning start. You kind of defended that.
Yeah, I think 3 is your limit. I don't, like I said, I think while we were talking through it, like it's not ideal, but it's not a bad outing. 3 walks can happen on you, and you can limit that. The damage part of that, the 3 walks, you can pitch your way out of 3 walks being bad.
Yeah. 3 walks, and the way that he did pitch his way out is 2 of them, the very next hitter gets a double play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you pitch out of them. And at that point, you pretty much erase those 2 walks. The 1 walk after the error puts a runner in scoring position. You give up a run that you may not have given up. And so, that's also, like I said, assisted by an error, and that's fine. But either way, it's a run, and walks are going to hurt you, man. 3 walks for me, 6 innings. If you said 3, maybe even 3 walks in 7 innings, I think I'm okay. I'm in the same page as you. To me, it is how you pitch out of them. He did a good job of pitching out of them.
Mm-hmm.
What you really don't want to see is, he gave up a back-to-back singles and then he walked someone. You know what I mean? Like, because then it's just, you can't do it.
Right.
So 7 strikeouts though, 5 hits. Seems like a better start. Seems like he's doing, he's made another, kind of step in the right direction here. I just don't know what to make of how he's been so inconsistent, and it's just frustrating again. It's a long season. These kind of things can happen. If he bounces back and he pitches well the rest of the way out, then I'm okay to say, yeah, he went through a rough patch, but he sandwiched that with good runs, multiple good games. Oviedo, on the other hand, had the rough outing with the 3 runs in the first, the 3 runs in the fourth on Friday night. So they did make that flip. Keller now has a better ERA again after 6 runs there. Reds in the game against Keller and the rest of the Pirates that pitched in that game, Perdomo, Holderman, and Bednar. Reds 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position. We talked about the Pirates only having 3 hits. Pirates were 2 for 4, which is much better, I guess. I mean, either way, it's 2 hits, but way less opportunities. So, I mean, a good signs there in the day game there on Sunday, but the nightcap, a little bit frustrating. Technically, it's game 3, but technically, isn't it game 2?
Right.
I don't really know, but Jackson gets the start. 3 runs in the first 2 innings. Comes out in the 4th. Hatch gives up 2 later. Reynolds hits 2 home runs. Peguero hits a home run. We've talked about those. 9 hits, 5 runs. Still can't win.
I kind of wish we would have just. We didn't we bring Beto back up?
Yeah, he pitched. He lost the game. I mean, the Manfred runner scored. You know what I mean? So it's an unearned run, but
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like you just would have rolled with him as the starter.
I wonder if it had
for the
something to
game.
do with maybe he was possibly going to start tomorrow or today, Monday, right? Start Monday. Maybe. I don't know. Now we got a bunch of TBDs thrown again. So let's go ahead and pivot into this. Let's go ahead and pivot into this because this is one of the things that I thought this is definitely worth talking about. Game 3, 1,000 pitchers pitch, and you've got the doubleheader, the cancellation, all this stuff. By the way, we threw 3 wild pitches in this game. Like, there's just a lot that was just kind of, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Jackson and Brucky both hit guys. I mean, it was it was sloppy. And a lot of times, these double headers end up this way. Both teams threw a starter who went 3 2/3 innings and was pulled out of the game. One gives up 4 runs, one gives up 3 runs. And, I mean, Luke Weaver he'd given up 4 runs, but he had 7 strikeouts. He just gave up a couple homers. But I don't necessarily... He's different because he's a real starter. Jackson, I'm not really sure what he is. Maybe like a Will Crow multi-inning guy right now. Do they want him to be a starter? Was he starting games in AAA? I didn't even look that up. I don't believe he was, but either way, we kind of got this. Both teams used 7 pitchers in this game. In the Friday night's game, there were 7 pitchers, and on the early game on Sunday, 8 pitchers total for both teams combined. 14 pitchers in this game, and they're not just doing clean innings. They're going in and out in the middle of innings. And dude, Friday night's game was a 9-2 game. There was 11 runs scored, 2 hours and 48 minutes. Sunday afternoon game of 6 runs, 2 hours, 33 minutes. This game lasts 3 hours and 39 minutes because of pitching changes. Now, It's not a big deal, right? I don't care about long games and all this stuff, but sometimes I'm just wondering, like, are we not going to play the Reds again? And for two teams that are that close together, why are we worried? Like, why even do the doubleheader?
I mean, on one hand, that makes sense. I get that. On the other hand, though, like we needed a starting pitcher to throw yesterday, and we needed a starting pitcher to Saturday, and we needed a guy to throw Sunday. I don't know why we didn't have two starters ready to throw.
We don't play the Reds again at all. But we've got days off.
But why didn't we have two starters ready to throw? There was a starting pitcher who was supposed to throw on Saturday. There's a starting pitcher who's supposed to throw on Sunday. Saturday's game got canceled, so Saturday's starter just throws Sunday first game. Sunday starter throws game 2 on Sunday.
But you know that
I don't
that's
know,
not. You know
but why?
that game wasn't.
I want a pitcher who's going to go out there and throw more than 3 innings.
When was that game canceled though? Because you know that a starter on Saturday got ramped up.
Grow up, get over it. I'm sorry, like
That's never
you
been
got
a thing.
you got a job to do. You have a job to do.
Yeah, I love that you're getting fiery about it, but that's never been
because
a thing.
it just drives.
That's never been a thing.
There's no way that starter got so ramped up that he was drained. Oh, I can't do.
It's not that he's drained.
If he did, take an Advil and go another 9 innings.
Oh my gosh. That's
No, I'm that kind of stuff drives me nuts. I don't.
and it's been that way since we were kids. That's the same thing. A lot of times if a rain delay happens, your pitcher's done.
A rain delay is different than what happened.
But if a guy's out in the bullpen, if a guy's out in the bullpen and he warms up and he's ready to come in and he doesn't come in, he's not available. He's not going to come in. Very rarely do you see that. Once you've gotten loose and gotten warm. Is
that what happened? I don't think that's what happened.
I have no idea if that's what happened. But you said grow up. I think at that level, you can do that when you're in high school. You can't do that at that age. You can't just turn around and say, all right, I'm ready to go. If a starting pitcher got ready,
athletes.
Who was slated to pitch Saturday?
I don't remember.
You can't go back in time on the internet. So I don't know who was actually slated to pitch on Saturday. Does it actually? Can we see that?
Did we list them in our notes?
I was going to say.
Did we list them in our notes?
No, it was TBD, I think, right? That's a good question, though. I can look back. I got the archive. Because I do. It was TBD. Game 2 was TBD. So I don't know who. Did they tweeted out a lineup that day? Did they not?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up what their lineup was. Maybe it was that early. Maybe they did. Because I didn't see any social media. I didn't see any posts or anything until I was home.
Right.
And I was just planning on watching the game. I hadn't actually looked any of that up. So it would have been the 12th. The lineup was posted. Andre Jackson. So the guy
they were planning on doing.
They were planning on starting him. This was a bullpen day the whole way around. So this probably goes
bullpen days.
This probably goes the same way Saturday night as it went Sunday night. But it's weird that it happened on both sides of the ball. You know what I mean?
I'm just, it's frustrating to me that a Major League Baseball team doesn't have 5 starters.
Well, we traded away that jerk that was yelling at everybody.
Well, and this isn't a Pirates thing right now.
No, that's true. It's not
a Pirates thing.
That's
not even what across the MLB. I don't understand why there's an MLB team that doesn't have 5 starting pitchers.
It is a thing for the Pirates right now. I understand across MLB and all that stuff, but this is a thing for the Pirates right now. We don't have 5 like actual starters. I wouldn't consider Osvaldo Beto an actual starter at this point. Not a major league caliber starter.
We're not talking about caliber
Okay. So like actual guys to go out there
and
and start games.
I can't stand the opener. Just can't.
And you've got Beto, you've got Falter, Keller, Oviedo, and Priester. You've got 5. So
Right.
Once again, I mean, I'd rather have Beto out there than Falter. And really, to be honest with you, I mean, we're still waiting on Quinn Priester. We're still waiting on like a decent outing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Jackson has they were planning on starting him, but Beto was down during that.
Right.
So Beto was down at the time. He came up today.
Right.
Who went on the injured list?
Majinski.
Yeah, Majinski. Cody Bolton was called up as the what is it now?
27th man.
7th man. So yeah, I mean, that's who we have. Side note, looking at that page right now, Max Kranick on a rehab assignment.
Mm-hmm.
I like the doubleheader in a lot of situations because it's whatever, it's old school or whatever. But when this kind of stuff happens, you get these, I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe it was just consequential and it didn't have anything to do with it being a doubleheader. Like I said, I don't care about long games. I just, if they're long because of more commercials, then it bothers me. And when you do pitching changes, you get commercials.
Yeah. You know, I don't quite. Do you think that Endy, because Endy caught the bullpen game, right? He caught the second game of the doubleheader.
Yeah.
Do you think that was done on purpose to get more offense in the lineup with a bullpen game?
No. No, you're not going to catch both of them. And I think that Keller was thrown to delay.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just
That's
wondering your opinion because I mean
yeah.
I was thinking offense in the bullpen game. I wasn't really.
If Mitch Keller was going well, I mean, you have to continue treating him as if he's a good pitcher. And you have a doubleheader, yeah, you could pick and choose that way and say, well, we're going to have delay because maybe we don't need it. Even though, is he hitting again? Is he not? I don't know. I mean, he was 0 for 2 in this game, and then the 3-run homer from Triolo was pinch hitting for delay. And
Right.
he went in and pinch hit for Alika right before that and drew the walk that led to the Triolo 3-run homer. So, you know, Endy finished that game. But no, I think delay was going to catch Keller.
Gotcha.
I think that's the call. I don't think that you think of it really. I mean, doubleheader, you're not going to catch both ends of it, but you're also
Right.
not going to catch the day game after the night game. And he was in the lineup. He was always going to catch him. So, like Saturday.
Yeah.
So, either way, he's not going to catch both of those games either way. So, I don't know that if that's necessarily it or if it was just a matter of delay is going to catch the day game after the night game. and maybe even specifically catch Mitch Keller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, well, 2 hits for Endy, by the way, in that game. 2 hits for Endy, Davis, and Peguero in the 5, 6, and 7 holes of the lineup. He just, to be fair, that game also went 10 innings. So you're going to get a little bit of time added to it there too.
Yeah.
That's fair. Kind of annoying though.
Agreed.
Should have come up with that win. And these are kind of the things that we're talking about with this team right now. We were at the Atlanta series and we said, boy, we really should have taken 3 or 4. And then we had a chance that we could have swept them. But we should have taken 3 out of 4. The way the games went.
Right.
And these are those sort of things, like we said on Fridays. These are those sort of things that this team is going to have to learn. They're letting these games get away from them when they shouldn't. And it's part of being on a young team. And injuries are a thing.
Yeah.
And we're definitely dealing with a big one in O'Neal Cruz. He's a guy who also needs to be in learning these lessons along the way.
Yeah.
It surely would be nice if he was doing that on the field. I mean, there's a chance he has to learn some of this stuff. I don't know. He has been there. Maybe there's a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's really been a big blow for us this year.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was going to be that big of a blow because we were so hot early on.
Like immediately
even
after
without him.
We thought it was going to be, and then we're like, maybe we're going to be okay.
No.
But it sure would be nice. Yeah, I just, these are the kind of things that this team's going to have to keep going through. We're going to lose series when we shouldn't have. And it's back to back. I mean, we split the Braves, but that's back to back where a game gets away from you that you would hope doesn't.
Right.
And excuse me. I would say part of this, I said right before, I was like, late night episode, man. And I was like, we're going to have to try to get our yawns out of the way.
Didn't work.
No. But I wonder if this game happens on a different day. I mean, you probably have Holderman available there. You've got Bednar available there. Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you've exhausted everyone.
Right.
That maybe you come away with that. And that's another piece of this doubleheader thing. That, I mean, both teams are dealing with the same problem.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's unfair. But it's, you'd like to say, well, we don't really like to, I don't know. You want to have your guys available.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to say it where I'm not like making an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my intent here. And so I'm trying to make sure that I say it so it's not like I'm making an excuse for it. But if you had your guys available, maybe you come away with that win. Obviously, everything has to be played out, but maybe you've got a better idea.
Definitely have a better chance to come away with it.
Right. So, Pirates lose the series. Mets are next. Sweep the Mets. They stink.
Did you see that score 24-3 or something like that? They lost to Atlanta.
I did not.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday's game.
I am pulling this up right now. They had a doubleheader.
Oh, really?
There was a makeup of an April 29th game that was 21-3. Man. And the Braves swept that doubleheader 6-0 in the other game. Strider pitched. Boy, he was probably ready to go after getting shelled by the Pirates. Probably really ready to go. Jeez. Friday night, they beat the Mets 7-0.
So they gave up 1 run in 3 games.
Yeah. And then they finished the series today. Mets came away with a win 7-6. So lose 3 out of 4 to the Braves right after the Braves split a series with the Pirates, but 7-0, 6-0, and 21-3. That hurts. Man, that hurts. So the Mets in their last 10 are 3-7. Like I said, they just won the last game they played. But them and the Pirates are both 53-65. So they're really even teams with where they are. They're both in the same payroll space, and they're both like up and coming teams. Maybe at the early part of a rebuild, or a later part of a rebuild, rather. Right? I mean, these are two similar teams.
No,
they spent a whole bunch of money and then traded away their grandpas.
and their grandpas. That's funny.
No, I will.
Yeah, you can't buy it, man.
You can't buy it. You can't buy wins, and you can't buy a pennant. You can't buy a World Series. You don't pay for wins on paper. You pay for players. And while players should get you wins, why don't you text Mike Trout and ask him if it's working?
Oh, boy.
I know. I rub it in. I know. But here we are. Going up to another Mets series. We took the series from the Mets, right? Earlier? Am I going to not know that? Am I going to not know that? Pulling it up right now. Because I can. You know what I mean?
I do.
New York Mets. We took the series. We took 2 of 3. So even if we lose the series, we split the series with the most expensive team in baseball. We talked about TBD set to pitch. So TBD will actually pitch all 3 games. So this is really a guy who's growing up.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
He's a bulldog.
Cookie Carrasco on Monday night, David Peterson Tuesday night, and Tyler McGill on Wednesday afternoon. A 1:10 game on Wednesday. So then the Twins after that, but blah, blah, blah. Mets. Beat them. Beat the Mets.
Beat the Mets.
Step right up and greet the Mets.
The Mets?
We're going to New York for these games. A little bit of a road trip, and then we'll be back after that in Minnesota. Minnesota. Maybe TBD will throw those games too. He's awesome.
Most likely, yeah.
We have no idea who's ever pitching for the Pirates. And when they are, they're probably going to give up 5 runs.
Oh, my gosh. Get it starting pitchers and run them out there.
Well, they are, and they're bad.
They're not great.
No. That's all we have for tonight. Late night recording session. Happy Monday. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Friday. Let's go, Bucks.
Let's go, Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks!